All praises to the Most High. This is Brother Elliot. It's time we talk about the elephant in the sky. Although I'm coming to you today to talk about this, I wouldn't say that I have all the answers, as I'm still compiling information. However, why do I call it the elephant in the sky? And what am I calling the elephant in the sky? Well, of course, it's the sun. How many people watching me right now have noticed that the sun is not what it used to be? It's way brighter. It's actually not even the yellow hue that it had. It's more of a white, like a LED light. The intensity of it is very, 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 very hot. Like when you're out in this new sun, it bakes you. It just cooks. It's just like an intense heat. A heat like I've never really experienced before. As a matter of fact, I even noticed that when the temperatures are cooler, say 20, 30, 40 degrees, in the car, when the sun is, beaming through the windows, it can go so hot that it make you think it's 60 or 70 degrees, 80 degrees maybe sometimes outside. 80 might be a stretch, but literally you are so hot just from the sun rays. But what is this new sun? What are we experiencing? What has changed? Well, there's people out there who think that, and I'm not saying people who think that like as a thing that just because you think it, it's wrong. But there are people who are saying that there are two suns out there. And there are people who are saying that the sun that we see right now isn't necessarily the sun, but it's a reflection of a star. It's really deep. As a matter of fact, in 2024, earlier this year, we experienced a solar eclipse, right? A complete solar eclipse. But one of the things that I noticed when I looked up at the sky was not the sun, but a whole lot of spraying, if you know what I mean. A whole lot of trails. So what is really going on in the sky? What's going on with the sun? And how does this relate to the last days that we're living in? I truly believe, even though I cannot yet, at this point, at the time of making this video, prove all things in terms of what I'm saying. I just want to just get it out there and maybe we can have a conversation about it. But I am noticing that there seems to be something very different. Like, are we even experiencing the same sun? And in terms of the days that we live in, what has already happened? How deep in the Revelation are we really? In the 8th chapter of Revelation, it talks about a third of the sun, I believe, being smitten, a third of the moon being smitten. So are things really dark outside, and what we're seeing is just some sort of illusion in the sky? Like in the movie The Matrix, the first one. Do you remember the scene?
This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
When you think about that, how far-fetched is it to really think that the environment, the matrix that we live in, is not what it seems? As a matter of fact, I noticed that it seems like not only has the patterns of the sun changed, but even the rains that we get. Like when the rains come, when they do finally come, it seems like it's just a downpour. And a lot of times I've noticed way more flash floods than I've ever noticed. And I've been on this earth a while. So it's just like a whole bunch of rain, a whole bunch of sun, and then even in the wintertime, we were getting these things in polar vortexes and things where we just get extremely bitterly cold rapidly. And how are we explaining what's really going on? So what's really happening in the sky? What are we noticing and what are we seeing? Is the sky even the sky? And are they telling us something that we might be overlooking? Like, is everything that we see up there a complete mirage that has been man-made? Let's take a look at this video and you tell me what they're trying to communicate.
Huh. I think we went too high.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So exactly. It doesn't seem as if what we see is really what it is. There's so many things that seem like they're being fabricated and just completely made up, because what's really going on may not be what they want us to know. And that's really interesting and something that we need to pay attention to. I mean, everybody I'm sure can tell, especially if you've been on this earth for some years, that just the brilliance of the sun, the color, it's not an orange anymore. It's like a bright white LED light, like a daylight, as opposed to like an orange tint, orange hue. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's going on and what it is we're seeing. Like, even the plants don't respond in the same way that they once responded. Check this out.
Can you see those sunflowers? Sunflowers have a thing called heliotropism. They face the sun and curve their face towards the sun every day, all day, every hour, to absorb the sun. Can you see there? Yeah. Yeah, they got their face turned away from the sun here. Now, if you look up over through there, you can see the beans and the corn and all that kind of stuff. And they don't have much choice. It's either grow straight up or fall down. But these sunflowers have a completely different mechanism. And for some reason, they don't like the sun. Now, I don't know what's causing that, but I'm inclined to say that the very people that took down my videos also might be responsible for this. I don't know that to be the truth, and I have no one to point a finger at. But I do know that these sunflowers are not facing the right direction. This is a farm boy. Let me know what you think about that.
So today I leave this with you as we're putting things together and trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this sun, this elephant in the sky. Because more than ever, I've been noticing this for years, and I've made mention, but it seems like it's something that a lot of people may notice but not talk about because it just seems too big, too grandiose to manipulate. Like there's no way on earth that they could really be doing something with that. But I'm telling you, from the streaks that I see in the sky, from the spraying to the weirdness of the sun, and oh, did I mention the moon? Check this out. I was just sitting in the car a few nights ago, and I noticed that the moon was moving fast. It was like the moon rising, and it is moving in the sky way faster than I've ever noticed before. And so I turned on the camera. Let's take a look. But of course, I have about 15 or 16 minutes of footage of watching the moon move. I'm going to speed it up, but I want you to see how much it moved. And I didn't even start it on time. I just noticed that when it started to move, that it was weird. Like I just never noticed the sun, the moon moving. So it was like a cloud moving through the sky. So what are we really seeing with the sun and with the moon? And are those indeed the sun and the moon? I'm not here to get too out there, but I'm sure that everyone can confirm, and even if you think about it and try to put two and two together, something is different. All praises. Like I said, this is just a video as where I'm not coming to any conclusions, but I'm starting the conversation. Let's get this talked about as I continue to figure out what's going on and just try to figure out how this lines up in the last days. Where are we in the book of Revelation? What seal are we on? What trumpet has been sounded? And what's really going on? What does our environment really looks like behind this matrix? You'd probably be very surprised. Because one thing I will tell you, and I know for sure, that we are definitely well underway in these last moments of the last days. And time is getting short. So let's continue to keep our eye on the signs of the times, and just stay close to the Most High, working out our salvation, doing everything that we need to do to be prepared for the soon coming of Christ, and what the Most High will do with his chosen people. All praises until the next time we speak. Shalom.